Our story begins with Hatamoto Ikuto, a 28-year-old working at Book Forest. He looks preoccupied, gazing at numbers: 10,000 yen, 4,980 yen, 2,980 yen, 1,000 yen. These aren't book prices, they're the costs of his secret obsession. A powerful visual shows a foot crushing a 10,000 yen bill, perfectly illustrating the financial burden. Ikuto's inner thoughts confirm it. I'm spending as much in this game as my rent. His strained expression, marked by a heavy thudding sound effect, highlights his deep internal struggle. He's clearly hooked on a gacha game, and it's taking a massive toll. Suddenly, a young woman enters, Todoroki Miran, 19. She seems embarrassed, almost flustered, as Akuto asks her why she's there. She gulps, her face flushing, and explains the nearby cafe was full, so she came to the bookstore to eat. Akuto initially says she can't, but then she pulls out a fast food bag, revealing she'd already gotten the food and had something removed for him. It's a surprising, thoughtful gesture from her, indicating a certain familiarity. Ikuto's observation confirms their connection. These days, I would say that she's grown into a reliable part-timer. Miran isn't just a random customer, she works there. The scene shifts to both of them eating. Miran, with a directness that hints at their close relationship, asks Akuto, "How much money did you spend today?" The question immediately puts him on the spot. His face is tense as he replies, "Around 60,000 yen. Miran's reaction is priceless. Her face distorts in pure shock and horror at the massive sum. She demands, "What do you mean, 60,000? Ikuto, almost casually, clarifies, "That's how much I earned today." This line initially sounds like his daily wages, but it quickly becomes clear he means his total gacha game expenditure. Miran expresses her concern, saying she doesn't think it's pointless spending though, but her expression clearly suggests otherwise. Akuto then launches into a lengthy justification for his gacha game spending, trying to frame it as a logical decision. He argues it's paying for upgrades and developers' salaries, and that his spending can contribute to real-life things by expanding the game's content. He even goes so far as to suggest that all kinds of goods are being reincarnated back to reality. With an intense look, he delivers his ultimate rationale. Spending money on gacha games is more of an actual investment. It's a classic gamer's defense, but it rings hollow, especially given his earlier financial confession. Miran isn't buying it. She sternly tells him, "If you're just gonna wuss out, then quit it already." Her frustration is palpable. She reminds him, "It's been a year since I started working here as a part-timer," establishing the history of her observations of his habits. A flashback takes us to their first meeting. Miran is on her knees, as if proposing, and Akuto is standing. She recalls, "But we had known each other earlier than that," indicating a past connection. We then see her applying for the part-time job after high school, clearly looking up to Akuto. She asks him about his favorite manga, showing her genuine interest in connecting with him. The flashback continues, revealing Miran's efforts to understand him. She explains, "I tried my best to study his preferences," showcasing her dedication beyond just work. She even brought him a thoughtful gift. "Here. This one's for you." These moments highlight her growing affection, or at least a strong desire to connect with him on a deeper level. Back in the present, Miran is visibly upset. She looks at her phone, which displays a gacha game, and admits, "I just feel 60,000 yen is a bit too much." She knows the gravity of his spending. She tries to approach him gently, saying, "I know it's rude to criticize someone's hobby, but..." Akuto remains impassive. Miran delivers a poignant point. "Well, I guess buying things. Your money will eventually return to reality, after all." It's her subtle way of contrasting his invisible gacha game investments with tangible, real-world purchases. The climax arrives with a sudden, shocking turn. Miran, with a determined and almost accusatory expression, confronts Akuto. "Back to spending money on girls, huh?" This completely blindsides him. He looks up in utter shock, a heavy sound effect emphasizing his surprise. Miran continues, "Please stop doing that, Akuto-san, that's like such a turn-off." She's directly hitting him where it hurts, suggesting a deeper reason for his spending. Akuto, reeling, thinks, "Okay, so you were there, Todoroki." This implies he was caught in the act, or she overheard something incriminating. The very last moment focuses on Miran's face, now contorted in a terrifying expression. The text identifies her as Todoroki Miran, part-timer. Her final, chilling thoughts reveal the extent of her knowledge and anger. You're not working for right? Followed by, I'm already aware. Miran, with raw emotion, directly confronts Akuto. She declares, then I'll become someone worth investing in. Her face, wet with tears, conveys a desperate plea as she looks up at him and asks, so, how about you try investing in me too? It's a bold, vulnerable proposition, directly challenging Akuto's concept of investment from his Gacha Games. Akuto's initial response is nonchalant. Sure, why not? I just kidding. As he looks away, Miran's hopeful face drops. But then, he turns back to her, offering a small, dark can. He confirms, well, here's your investment. Miran, confused, takes the can as he explains, it might sound selfish to call it a gift, but if you're so mad, you'll still get a thank you from me, then I think it's okay. He then clarifies his rationale. In any case, it's just my own way of getting things off my chest to you, Miran. Miran looks at the can, then at Akuto, her expression rapidly shifting from confusion to explosive anger. The words, this frigging sucks, burst forth as her face contorts in fury, accentuated by intense sound effects. She's absolutely enraged. Her inner thoughts reveal the depth of her frustration. Akuto-san just has a way to ruin everything I've done. In his eyes, a gacha waifu is worth 60,000 yen. She then contrasts that with her own perceived value. Meanwhile, I'm just a snack's worth 100 yen. The investment he gave her is a simple, cheap can of black coffee, a stark contrast to the enormous sums he pours into his game. She feels utterly dismissed and undervalued. I'm so pissed off right now. She seethes, physically stomping away. As Miran walks away, her mind drifts to the past. Does Akuto-san really see me as nothing more than a woman worth a can of coffee? She rages internally. She remembers trying so hard to get his attention. I've been at my part-time job for almost a year, and I've been working my ass off for him to notice me, but... Another character, perhaps a customer or coworker, casually dismisses Akuto as just a middle-aged gacha addict, further highlighting the disparity in how Miran sees him versus how others might. Miran's thoughts drift further back, 3 years ago, to a career survey form and a counseling office. She remembers a difficult conversation about her future education. A counselor tells her, even if you do try your best, it will be hard, you know? She bitterly recalls. But they never showed me how to do my best. She felt lost, crying and anxious about her future, unable to see a path forward. Even I want to be great with my future too, you know? She thought, longing for direction. I'm not sure how I can achieve it though. Then, a pivotal memory surfaces, Akuto, on one knee, reaching out to her in the reference books section of the store. He was offering her the part-time job. With just a little help from Akuto, I ended up finding a place like this. She thinks, acknowledging his role in giving her a purpose. Back in the present, Miran is still fuming, holding the can of black coffee. She walks past the vending machine. She then takes a sip. Her face immediately scrunches up in disgust. Bitter. I can't handle black coffee. She burps, admitting. Still, I think I got through a major hurdle thinking about him. Way to go, me. Despite her intense dislike for the coffee, she managed to drink it for him, hoping it would make a difference. She walks past a 100 yen shop and contemplates. 100 yen, huh? She then wonders, can I repay the favor with 100 yen? This shows her attempt to reciprocate, even if it's with such a small, symbolic amount. Miran, still holding the coffee can, sees Akuto walking away with other staff members. The ringing sound of a message notification is heard. Her expression is one of deep sadness and frustration. Miran, her face flushed and a little disheveled, but with a hint of determination. Gee, good. She stammered, then completed her thought. Good work today. She's trying to express something, perhaps a new resolve, to Akuto. He looks at her, a slight escaping his lips, hinting at his slight confusion or discomfort from their previous intense exchange. The workday concludes at Book Forest. We see Akuto at the register, thanking customers for their patronage. The store is emptying out. As the last day ends, Akuto is left alone at the counter. He leans back, contemplating. A thought surfaces. Oh hey, a book cover, that's old, I told it. He seems to be recalling something minor, likely a past conversation or task related to the books. Suddenly, a voice cuts through the quiet. Ikuto-san! It's Miran. She's still there, standing near the register, having waited for him. Ikuto looks up, surprised. As he processes her presence, she nervously clutches her arms, her head down. You gotta take the bait, me. She thinks, steeling herself for what she's about to do. Her face is still flushed, still a little disheveled, but she's decided on her next move. Moments later, Ikuto receives a message on his phone. A ping alerts him. He glances at it, an unread message. It's from Todoroki Miran. The message reads, Apologies for the late message, but I was curious, if you had to choose, do you like flowers or clovers? Ikuto simply acknowledges. Oh, it's from Todoroki. His expression is neutral, almost detached, as a small gacha game character, likely a waifu, he invests in, appears next to his head. The scene transitions back to Miran and Akuto together in the quiet store. Miran is holding something. Her expression is earnest and a little fragile as she asks, Do you think I managed to pay you back? She's holding a book, or perhaps a book cover, suggesting her intent to repay him for the coffee he gave her. She explains her reasoning, blushing heavily, with hearts floating around her, indicating her sincere feelings. I'm really sorry for saying something weird all of a sudden yesterday. She then gets to the heart of her gesture. You look. I know I was joking about it, but you did buy me a can of coffee after all. If you're going to treat me as an investment, I felt like I needed to repay you somehow. And I thought maybe 100 yen accessory should do the trick. She's clearly referencing their previous conversation about investment, and the 100 yen coffee, trying to match his investment in her with something of equal, albeit symbolic, value. She's clearly in a state of panic, flustered and embarrassed. As she fumbles, something slips from her grasp. The book covers she was holding. Wait a sec. The book covers are spilling everywhere. Ikuto quickly moves to help her, bending down to pick them up. Miran looks at him, her eye glistening. She watches him, then whispers, Hey, Ikuto-san. Her gaze is fixed on him. Ikuto calmly picks up the fallen book covers. He holds out a neatly wrapped item to Miran. What was it called again? He asks, almost to himself, perhaps trying to remember the specific manga series she brought for the book cover. Miran, her face now bright and relieved, takes the item with both hands, eyes sparkling. Thank you very much, she exclaims, a wide smile gracing her face. It seems he's given her the new book cover she was looking for. Just then, an elderly customer approaches the counter. The bill, please. Miran and Ikuto both react with, Oh! The customer apologizes for the late hour, explaining she was looking for a specific book. Ikuto smoothly takes over, asking, Which book are you looking for? And thanks her for waiting. Miran, though surprised by the sudden influx of people, seems to understand the situation. She grabs her own book and looks at Akuto, who is now focused on helping the customer. We meet Yura Yahiko, 18, who's carrying boxes, and Yura Sanya, 21, who is kneeling unpacking. Yahiko calls out to Sanya. Hey, big sis, are you listening? Sanya replies. What's up? We also see Akuto and Miran at the register, and a third employee asking. What's up with those? They are likely referring to the boxes of new books. The atmosphere in the store shifts. We see a multitude of books and scattered items, specifically numerous book covers, lying around. One employee remarks, I guess we have no choice but to do the cleanup, huh? This sets up a new task for the staff. Ikuto clarifies. Looks like we will get through by stacking the books. Miran chimes in. Putting in the effort would just be a waste. She seems to agree that a simple stacking will suffice for the book covers. However, Ikuto then tells the two younger employees, You guys should handle it this time. Sanya and Yahiko are surprised. Sanya, the older sister, protests. No, we're gonna try to make it work. She looks at Akuto with determination, implying they will put in the effort to organize the book covers properly. Akuto, however, looks away, his expression serious. Suddenly, Akuto begins to act strangely. His face darkens, and lines representing stress and unraveling emotions appear around him. Miran observes him intently, thinking, He's acting strangely. Her concern is palpable. He appears overwhelmed, perhaps by the additional workload or some internal pressure. Miran, remembering her past, feels a wave of anxiety. It's already been a week since that happened. She thinks, connecting back to her own struggles. She recalls being overwhelmed, saying, "In the end, I didn't get anywhere and wasted my week." She clutches her head, feeling stuck, unable to think of a solution, and collapses onto the floor, utterly defeated. She desperately wishes for, "Just give me a little more time." This reveals her continued struggle with finding her own direction and worth, despite her efforts to connect with Akuto. Ikuto notices her distress. He asks, "Is something the matter, Ikuto-san?" He sees her crying. "Huh? Why are you crying all of a sudden?" he asks, genuinely confused by her emotional outburst. Miran, still teary-eyed, hands him a flyer saying, "Please take a look at this." The flyer is for a special event, celebrating the release of the Princess Manager adaptation book fair opening. It features a cute anime-style girl and announces a photo contest. Miran asks, "Isn't this the series you're currently obsessed with, Ikuto-san?" The contest involves 3 steps, a mirror to check entries, displaying photos in a dedicated section, and winning prizes. The entry requirements state, "We're only just accepting entries for several bookstores right now." This means their store, Book Forest, is one of the exclusive participants. Miran, with a sudden burst of energy, declares, "I say this'll be a great opportunity, let's go for it. I'll handle the main part, so leave it to me." Her eyes sparkle with determination. Akuto and the other employees are surprised. "Are you serious about this?" they seem to exclaim, bewildered by her sudden enthusiasm. Miran responds, "Relax, I'll figure something out." Despite her outward confidence, Miran is still grappling with ideas. We see her relaxing at home, thinking, "Welp, I'm drawing blanks here." She stresses over finding a flashy concept. She knows she needs to take action, but the ideas aren't coming easily. Her mind drifts back to her past, recalling being told, working early or starting college is one way to study. She felt embarrassed. "I'm embarrassing myself. I don't even know what to work in." She felt stuck, but a memory of Akuto offering her the job comforts her. She wants to be someone worth investing in. Miran is still struggling to come up with a creative plan for the photo contest. She's at home, trying to think, but finding nothing. Then she remembers something specific. Halloween stuff. She recalls using decorations for a past event. This might just do the trick. She thinks, a spark of an idea igniting in her mind. A few days later, a dazzling display is set up at Book Forest for the photo contest. It's elaborate and eye-catching. Miran proudly states, "We gotta upload these pictures right away and enter the contest." Akuto agrees, impressed. "I agree. Looks great. This definitely gets points from me." However, the excitement quickly turns to dread. Miran checks the photo contest entry page on her phone. Other stores' entries are displayed, and they are magnificently extravagant. Her confidence shatters. "Oh no," she whispers. The other stores have pulled out all the stops, making Book Forest's efforts seem small in comparison. Miran's face distorts in a mixture of despair and fierce determination. She collapses onto the floor, defeated once more. Her previous resolve is crushed by the overwhelming competition. Despite her grand plans, she's back to square one, desperate to find a way to win and prove her worth. Marin, a girl with a flair for the dramatic, pulling out a box of old Halloween decorations. An idea sparks as she finds a particular item, deciding it's just what she needs to get noticed. Soon after, we see her at the bookstore, transformed. She's dressed in an elaborate, frilly, gothic-style dress, looking like a character straight out of a video game. She proudly presents her look to her friend, who confirms she looks exactly like the Gacha Game character, celebrating the release of the Idol Princess manga adaptation. With newfound confidence, Marin approaches the seemingly unflappable Ikuto-san. "Do I pull off the look?" she asks, a hopeful glint in her eyes. Akuto, momentarily taken aback, can only manage a simple, "I think so too." But Marin's friend enthusiastically adds, "But you know, it's still so adorable to look at." Marin, flustered but happy, laughs, clearly pleased with the reaction. Later, as the bookstore is closing, Marin thanks Akuto for his help during the book fair. He seems distant, lost in thought. She gently probes, asking if he's stuck in a daze again, to which he simply replies with an, "Oh hey. Great job today." The next day, Marin returns to the bookstore, this time in a chic outfit with a fluffy coat. She playfully asks Akuto how well she did, and after a moment of intense staring that makes her blush, he stammers. Do you mean, you looked cute? Overjoyed by his flustered compliment, Miran is ecstatic. However, a small crisis arises. Miran realizes she's short on cash for a drink set she wanted, which costs 1,200 yen, but she only has 1,000. As she panics, Ikuto calmly steps in. He offers to cover the difference, calling it my next investment and a business transaction. He explains that seeing the other employees so happy was a bit of a downer for him, and this is his way of trying to find out if the effort is worth it. He tells her, if it doesn't pay off, we will have to look for a different way. Confused but intrigued, Miran asks why he's doing so much for her. With a knowing and gentle smile, Ikuto looks at her and says, you came here because you couldn't just give up, didn't you? The sentiment hangs in the air, suggesting a deeper understanding and a budding connection between the two, leaving us to wonder what there. The story shifts to Akuto's perspective, revealing the inner thoughts of the quiet bookstore employee. He muses on how, in a stressful world, a sudden familiar scent can be incredibly comforting. He's noticed Miran's unique fragrance before, associating it with her bright, almost blinding, lightheartedness and the sincere, unguarded way she expresses herself. He finds himself pondering what kind of scent could possibly capture her essence. This internal monologue is interrupted by a colleague who finds Akuto's fascination a bit strange, questioning if it's creepy for a 30-something manager to be so focused on the scent of a young girl. Akuto defends himself, saying it's not like that, but the seed of doubt is planted. Meanwhile, the bookstore is thrown into chaos. It started a week ago, when the manager had to take a leave of absence. Then, another key staff member calls in, explaining her son is sick. This leaves the store severely understaffed right before opening. Akuto and his remaining colleague, a young woman named Yura-san, are left to handle a massive shipment of books and manage the store alone. Despite the immense pressure, Akuto reassures a stressed and sniffling Yura-san, telling her she's done a great job and can go home to rest. As Akuto and Miran are left to manage the store, Miran, overwhelmed by his recent compliments and kindness, is in her own world. She's so flustered she feels like she's walking on sunshine, barely able to keep herself together. She tries to calm herself down, knowing that Akuto hasn't said anything that would justify such a strong reaction, but her heart is fluttering uncontrollably. The pressure mounts when the manager, who had briefly returned, feels unwell again and has to leave, pleading with Akuto to invest in him and take over. Miran, witnessing Akuto's quiet competence and kindness under pressure, has a realization. She understands that she wants to be someone who can support a person like him when they are drained and exhausted. With a newfound determination, she steps up, offering her help and showing a new, more mature side of herself, ready to face the chaotic day alongside Akuto.